Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another phenomenal week of Valor Racing League action here in the NASCAR Pocono Raceway Cup Series. We got a good one on tap for you tonight, the Wheat State 200 from Kansas Speedway. My name is James McCombs, and with me back tonight in the booth is the one and only Koala. How are you doing tonight, my man?
Good, my man. How are you?
I'm alright, can't complain. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into tonight's event. Let's get a quick look at the race analysis for tonight. 134 laps, 201 miles are going to be run here tonight at Kansas Speedway. These guys can make it anywhere between 28 and 31 laps on fuel, and expect about the same for their tire window. This track is 1.5 miles long, 17 to 20 degrees of banking in the corners, so we've got more progressive banking headed towards the wall, and 9 to 11 degrees of progressive banking on the front straightaway the closer you get to the wall. Track was opened in 2001 and was last repaved in 2012, so still some pretty fresh asphalt on this racetrack, and it'll be very fast for these drivers. Couple of quick things to point out for tonight. DK Brown is out in the number 18 machine there in his Toyota Camry. He's being replaced by Diesel Rothgib. He will be the new driver in the number 18 Camry, and Jose 720 has been signed from a part-time schedule in the 78 to run in the number 11 for Diesel Esports. And BBS Brennan, the 95, out tonight in the 95 machine. And with that, we send it off to Koala for the starting lineup here in the Wheat State 200.
The starting lineup here, guys. It's not a bad starting lineup. These guys have some fast lap times here. We got Jason and Max Boost on the front row. We got Jose with Slade in row 2, Mike and Perky of row 3, Big D and Birdster of row 4, Saints and Diesel on row 5, Cyber and J.O. row 6, Bags and Extreme row 7, Coach Matt and Cola row 8, Fluffy Titans row 9, Celtics Baronate row 10, Runner and Jocko row 11, Marcus and Robbie of row 12, Workman is seals out the rest of the field. Everybody from 16th on back did not make a run in qualifying, so it's going to be interesting to see how they come up through the field.
Absolutely. The high line, definitely the more dominant line here at Kansas due to that progressive banking up to 20 degrees up near the wall in that top lane. So it's more of a one-lane racetrack. We're going to see guys like Cola, the winner of the last 2 races, and Fluffy, the man who was so dominant early on in the season, as well as guys like Celtics and Baronate, just consistent runners who are going to have to work their way through the field by making those quick, tough passes on the inside line, because we know that that is not easy to do here at Kansas.
Well, it's not at all.
Alright, so as we move along tonight, we get ready for the green flag dropping here in just a couple of minutes, and I want to get your opinion right away, Koala, here at Kansas. Definitely, like I said, a one-lane racetrack. Do you find this track to be a little bit more exciting than some people give it credit for now that we've got custom setups on all these race cars, or do you think it's going to be a lot of single-file racing, one pass at a time kind of deal?
It's still going to probably be single file. Maybe. Actually, I can't really say that. Last night's race, it was mainly net, but I think most of the guys only knew how to run the outside. I don't know if these guys know how to run the bottom and make time, but they probably might attempt it. It's going to string out as well, though. It's going to be single file. I don't think it's going to be like a freight train on the outside, but it's going to be definitely some spaced out cars there, because some guys are going to be loose, some guys are going to be really tight and hitting the wall, so it's going to be interesting to see how, like I said, the guys in the back get through all of that, because it's going to be a mess.
Absolutely. So we get ready to go green flag racing in just a couple of minutes here in the Valor Racing League here in the NASCAR Pocono Raceway Cup Series. And once again, thank you so much to the Pocono Raceway for continuing to sponsor this series here in the Valor Racing League.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.
Just in a minute, we have the green flag drop. For now, my name is James McCombs with the one and only Koala up here in the booth. We'll be back for the drop of the green flag here in the Wheat State 200. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back getting ready to go green flag racing here from virtual Kansas Speedway. On the pole for tonight, the number 14 of Killing Like Jason. So we get ready to go green flag racing here in the Wheat State 200, taking it down for the green flag. Now going down trackside as these drivers start to line up and get ready to go green flag racing. About 30 laps once again that these guys can run on fuel, give or take a couple of laps. And the same way along with tires.
I got that. I, for one, do think it might be a strategy race as well. Last night's race played out that way.
It's definitely going to be interesting to note because you just said it, strategy race. Not something I would have expected here because a lot of these guys typically just, try and pit for 4 tires when they get the chance. Those left sides are always pretty worn out through the course of a green flag run here with how close you run into that wall. But obviously, you said it, it could play out strategy-wise, and that's not something that I thought about at all before the green flag. Can you talk a little bit more about it?
The tire wear, the thing about that is, yeah, like you said, guys are going to want tires at the best time because having 4 fresh tires is way better than obviously softer tires. But at the end of the day, you don't want to lose that track position too. So you're gonna play the strategy game where you want to see what happens. Is there going to be a caution? Do I want to save fuel now? Do I want to go ahead and start, attempting to, or do I want to ride it out to see if you get a caution? You got to figure it out. What's going to happen? I do not expect to see a lot of cautions from these guys, so that's going to make it even more interesting.
Yeah, you said it. Not a lot of cautions. There's going to be a ton of green flag racing as these guys now get the 1 to go signal. Getting ready to go green flag racing. It looks like Max Boost has taken the second spot on the inside line as Kill It Like Jason now sits on the front row on the outside line, possibly still with the pole, but the lane shows into the outside. So does that make a difference here now that Max Boost is out front?
Could be. Maybe not. I mean, the thing is, the outside is good, but on the restart, you got to get a good jump, and you got to get a good start into 1 and 2. That's how 3 and 4 impacts. So you go in there side by side, you got to make sure you're really tight together because you can't really run the high line off a restart in 1 and 2. It's just not possible.
You were definitely correct there. It's really tough to run that outside line. These guys aren't going to have an impossible time doing that, but it will not be easy. Now is Killer Like Jason in that outside line, leads this group down to the green flag here in the sprint restart zone, if I'm not mistaken, as we get ready to go green flag racing here from Kansas Speedway.
'14, beautiful restart right there.
Absolutely, makes his way to the inside line, gets in front of the fast man himself. Max Boost into 77, unsponsored Chevy Camaro as they make their way down, or I should say up, into corner number 3 on the outside line. These guys trying to make moves in the middle of the pack already as they circle around corner number 4 and complete lap number 1 already. Cars getting in the wall.
Guys getting wide, 3 wide, 4 wide back here.
Oh, the 20, hard into the outside wall in the middle of the tri-oval. That's Cola Motorsports.
Not good. So there's a lot of momentum in this track. This track relies on momentum to the T. You lose momentum, it's a struggle bus for you from there.
Absolutely. We see a couple of guys still strung in on the inside line there. The number 9 of Big Destroyer in his UniFirst machine is down there, and I believe the 6 of Baronate was down there as well. We're going to look to see these guys trying to make moves while these tires are fresh, but right now everyone just trying to get into that outside line and run right up against the outside wall as Max Boost looks to make a move coming out of turn number 2.
That's all over the back of that 14. Here goes Slade to the bottom here.
Heading down into corner number 3.
14 got in the wall a little bit.
Kill It Like Jason.
Momentum. And Slade's going to steal it.
A big switch of position as they come out of turn number 4 as we see Slade and the number 38 Yanmar Ford Mustang take the lead, but Max Boost charging back hard on the outside. He is going to try and steal the lead back coming out of turn number 2 here. We'll see what happens, and he spins.
Oh, he spins. So the 21's involved. Oh, a lot of guys. A lot of guys in this backfield.
Hard contact.
Coach Matt's involved.
Coach Matt in the 43 is involved in this one, or excuse me, in the 42.
Caddy.
A lot more drivers as well. The 42 of Marcus Edub is in this one as they race back to the caution flag and take the yellow. A big wreck coming out of 2, led by Max Boost in what's obviously now, we can tell, a very loose setup on that race car. Looks like all of the chaos has been collected. All of these drivers have made their way back around to the rear of the field, or at least doing so. As now we're going to get our first chance to see everyone make their way down pit road. Do you think anyone might even stay out here, or is everyone coming down for some fresh tires?
Could be some guys that may stay out. Could be. It's possible. I mean, Brandon about to get, I'd say 3 laps, so 3-4 laps there. All these guys are actually going to pit, yeah.
And it looks like everyone does make their way down pit road. Now the question, do some of these guys up front who maybe weren't charging as hard, didn't have to deal with any battles on the track, did they take 2 tires instead of 4?
That's if you want it. If you have the car for it, yeah. But it's really hard to work with 2 tires at this track. It's really hard. It's just, your left sides are going to wear out much faster at that point. So even though it's only, I don't know, what, an 8% difference here I'm looking, it's still going to wear drastically fast. And I don't know. Some guys might do it for to test it out. Some guys might not know. So
very interesting. I like the idea, though, as some of these guys look like they took 2 tires and got out ahead of the leader. Actually, quite a few, is Kill It Like Jason in the 14 machine, who was up front, now comes out second to last on pit lane, only in front of the 43 of Coach Matt. Maybe a possible speeding penalty that puts him at the rear of the field and ruins his pole qualifying spot.
Jose's first start for Diesel Racing. Up in the second position right now.
Yep, there you see him in the number 11 FedEx Toyota Camry and the number 18 machine sitting in 5th. So a good start for them after it looks like the number 14 machine of Kill It Like Jason is now out of the picture. These guys can try and make a move up towards the front as Slade leads in the number 38 machine.
Now it's really interesting here.
Gonna take the back camera view to look and see who starts where, whether they want the inside or the outside line, and not typical of these guys to want to take that inside line unless they know they can get up onto that wall, or they're taking a chance, a risk that they can get up on that wall. And the 18 is going to be the first one to take that risk on the inside line, now going from 5th to 3rd on this restart.
Very impressive there. See, choose rule allows a lot here, so Diesel, 2 teammates right there.
Indeed. And yeah, you said it, the choose rule dictates a lot here at this racetrack. Normally these guys won't be pushing for that inside line like they do at most racetracks. It'll be fun to see who decides to do what, whether these restarts later on in the race are going to have a much bigger impact, because we know they're going to be pretty exciting like we saw on that first run through.
Exactly. It's going to be very exciting. We're ready for this restart here. See how good of a jump the 11 can get on the side of the 38.
Let's see whether he can get something or not as they go back down to the restart zone. Slade is going to try and get the jump. The 10's push on the number 11 of Jose. No help as these guys charge back down to corner number 1 with the 18 inside of the 11.
Mike RPM in the 4 there. 18's lining up. Slade looks like he's trying to get away for a minute.
And that was a big move by the 18 machine as they made their way down into corner number 3. His teammate, the number 11 of Jose, let him in, and now these guys are in great position to be running in about 2nd and 4th.
3 wide. We're to sell it out, though. 6 car Baronade's running that bottom, and he's making it work, actually. Oh, the 4's around. Oh, the 2 cars hit.
Oh, Robbie Racing gets right underneath him and got pile driven with that hood underneath the 4 machine. A lot of cautions as these guys already running early on in this race, trying everything they can, and Slade is going to get back to the start-finish line to take the yellow flag.
Still right on the front straightaway.
Oh, the 1 and the 14 both. Yeah, you mentioned it. And there's the 16 of Cyber K Bionic, who looks like he might be involved as well.
And that's the thing, these guys' cars are probably very loose because they have to be fast. And these guys, I know all these guys love to drive on the verge of loose. So these cars are going to be very loose, especially when someone's pushing you all the way into a turn.
Absolutely, you just said it best. These guys pushing into that corner, they want that rotation. And a lot of times on these custom setups, they'll use everything they can to try and get some stability out of the front and the rear, but also want to make it rotate well through the corner. You talk about the left and right side track bars on the car, the front weight, the wedge, the tire pressures, even the rear shock spring splits. Everything goes into building these race cars as fast as they can, and it definitely shows. These guys running 30.2 second laps in qualifying, much faster than the recommended setups here on NASCAR Heat 5.
Yes, very impressively fast setups, yes. They know what they're doing here in this league. They know what they're doing here at every race they're doing, so. Everybody hits pit road, though, I noticed that.
Absolutely, everyone in pit lane, and the number 38 is Slade, keeping an eye on him to see if anyone does anything out of the usual here on pit lane. And it looks like Titans and Workman in the 8 and the 62 both went with 2 tires possibly on that stop. They get out far ahead of Slade and the rest of the field as everyone pulls back onto the track.
Strategy.
We'll see if it pays off for him. Bold move, Cotton.
It was a very bold move, but like we said earlier, strategy is going to play, whether it be fuel strategy or whether it be 2-tire strategies. Workman is also at the 2nd place. Very impressed.
Yeah, that 62, if I'm not mistaken, got his first start last week whenever we ran at New Hampshire, and he put up an impressive performance before unfortunately getting involved in a wreck that put him back to, I believe, 15th or 16th, and that's where he ended up finishing, but showing strength right now. Alright, so we'll follow with the number 8 machine as we get ready to get back into the choose rule, something we mentioned just a minute ago, holds such importance here at Kansas, and Titans goes with the outside line here to restart.
Yes, it does. Now Slade's up to the front row again. And see, then, there I kind of feel the 8 should have chose the bottom. Because you know Slade's fast.
Yeah, this is going to be tough because that inside line an advantage, but only in turns 1 and 2 on the restart. And once you get off turn 2, that high line already has the momentum built right back up, and they could drive right by you. So it's tough. If Slade can get a good run through 1 and 2, he could take the lead right from the beginning, and Titans will have that strategy taken away instantaneously by taking 2 tires. But if he can get a great restart here and stay in front of that 38, who knows what can happen here on this restart. This field could get jumbled up quick.
And also, all depends on how wore out are their left sides. That's what it all really depends on now.
Absolutely, it's going to be a big deal here as they make their way back down to the restart zone for our 3rd green flag stint here in the Wheat State 200 at Kansas Speedway. We're back to green.
Beautiful restart by Slade. He had a good timing on that restart. Now he's going to carry it through 1 and 2 here. Right on that yellow line.
Is he going to be able to clear the 8 of Titans coming out of 2? Not quite. Here comes the 62 trying to push back on the outside as they make their way into quarter number 3.
You sling it back out. There you go. Can he clear him now? He does. But he got a little loose coming off that turn there.
Absolutely, a beautiful corner by Slade, and now they're running right next to one another all the way up the racetrack as they head back down into quarter 1, and here comes Fluffy in the All-American Sunny D number 17 Ford Mustang looking for 2nd on the inside line, and Workman in the 62 looking back out.
As I stated earlier before this race started, these guys, obviously I told you the high line was going to be good, but as the race is going on, they're going to want to experience other parts of the track. They're going to want to see how any parts of the racetrack are faster just so they don't have to run in a line.
And it looks like they're exploring that right now very much, not just at the front, but also throughout the pack. There you see Bags in the 1, trying to move underneath the 20 of Cola Motorsports, who's trying to get underneath the 9 of Big Destroyer, now the 88 machine, as they work their way down into turns 3 and 4. These guys are all over the racetrack, trying to make up positions and stay off of that wall.
88's in the wall. 88 got in the wall, lost all that momentum there, and that's going to suck for him. No power Celtics.
As they move back down into corner number 1, you mentioned it, hitting that wall, losing all momentum, and Celtics now going to be running in the very, very back of the pack. After just a minute ago, we saw him battling up here for what could have been a spot closer to the top 5 on this restart. Now falling back quickly, as Slade and the 17 of Fluffy have seemingly driven away from the rest of this pack already with one another.
So I'm watching Diesel here. He knows he's making that middle groove work. He's running the middle groove, and he's kind of like diamonding in. He's making it work.
And focus in on the number 18 machine here as they come out of turn number 2. The M&Ms and Interstate Batteries, Toyota Camry, as they move into quarter number 3, and now running up towards that higher line, and you can see almost everyone following him. It looks almost kind of like a Talladega race, if you will, where these guys run that high line single file from time to time, but they're not going to stay there long, because here comes the 11 of Jose 720 to make a move.
Jose looking really strong in his first race for Diesel Motorsports.
As you can see, the 18 starting to pull away as they make their way into corner number 3, but that battle's still going on as Jose looks low in turn 3 again, and here comes Marcus Edub and the 42 Mick Delivery Machine coming out of corner number 4, trying to push Titans back out to an advantage on his old left side tires.
These guys are still getting very racy back there.
And it looks like the caution flag may have flown here in the Wheat State 200, and indeed it has, as Houdat Saints in the number 12 machine, and it looks like possibly one other driver were involved in a wreck there on the last lap. It looks like it might have been the 16 of Cyber K Bionic. So a little bit more green flag action on that last run. I want to get your take here, Koala, like I always do. That last green flag run, we saw these guys get a little more racy when the tires started to wear down a little bit, and 2 or 3 drivers were able to pull away. Do you see that becoming a theme tonight, or are these guys going to be able to keep check with one another and not let that leader run away now that they've seen it happen once?
And that's the thing, like I said, they've seen it once now, so will they let it happen again? Well, we already know Slade's got a fast car, and that's what I pointed out on the restart when they put the choose rule there. The 8 should have just went ahead and chose the inside right there because it kept the 38 back in the field. But I believe these guys may actually try to run away with it again. If not, it might end up being a long pack again. I do believe, though, Slade's got a pretty fast car, and he was maintaining that. So it just all really depends on if these guys get loose or if they don't get loose. And if they get loose momentum and all that, that's all it comes down to. And Slade gets first off pit road.
Yeah, there you see it. It looks like the number 17 of Fluffy in second with the 18 in third. That's Diesel Rothgib now in his Toyota Camry, and in fourth, if I'm not mistaken, is Titans. So that move paid off really well for him, taking 2 tires earlier on. Now sits in fourth with 4 freshies on his machine. Unfortunately, can't say the same for Workman in the 62. He sits outside of the top 10.
Now, choose rules coming up here.
I'm going to want to focus in on that. We'll put the camera back on the Yanmar number 38 machine as they make their way through corners 3 and 4. We'll see who decides to go where on the restart. And Slade chose the inside last time, was able to get the lead away on the inside on that last restart. I think I know where he's going this time. And a bold move is the Sunny D All-American Ford Mustang of Fluffy takes the outside line from second place on this restart. I think he's trying to play it safe.
Yeah, he's definitely playing safe there. He just want to get stuck back there, just in case, not get the restart he wanted on the outside.
Yeah, he wants to be in, I guess, a not compromising position. He wants to just kind of lay low and relax right now. He knows he's got a fast Ford Mustang. He always does, especially at these 1.5 miles. But I think he just wants to make sure right now he's running in second. He wants to stay running in anywhere between that second and fourth place area. If he gets a bad restart here, he's got that outside lane to kind of catch him and pull him back into the top 5 really easily.
Get ready for this restart here. Lining them up. The restart zone. Slade, Fluffy, front row.
Here we go. The number 38 Ford Mustang charges back out to the start-finish line and leads this group back down to the green flag here in the Wheat State 200. And already the 18 machine of Diesel Rothgib with a great restart on the inside line. It looks like he's going to clear Fluffy coming out of turn number 2. And now a battle for third as Cola Motorsports in his Research Toyota Camry looks to the inside.
Down the back straightaway they go here. Turn 3, Slade. Right on that outside wall, 18 right there behind him, 17 got in the wall.
Ooh, just a little bit, and here comes the 8 of Titans. He tried to get inside, got a little loose from the contact the 17 made with the wall, but all things considered for Kansas, that was pretty light contact between everyone as they make their way now through corners 1 and 2. And down the back stretch, more battles in the middle of the field, 3 wide.
Now it all comes down to can Slade pull away. He's getting a steady gap. Oh, he's got cars in the wall again.
Big wreck in the back of the field as they make their way down the front stretch. The 9 of Big Destroyer. Heavy contact with the outside wall and a few others with heavy contact as well.
Getting really dicey back there.
And they paid the price for sure as they make their way into turn number 3. It looks like Slade is going to secure the caution flag in first place. A battle coming out of 4 for 6 as they come to the line. Who's going to get it, the 11 or the 8? It's going to be, from the looks of it, Jose as they come back down for the caution flag. Actually, it looks like Titans might have gotten it in his number 8 Food City Chevy Camaro for Richard Childress Racing, and indeed he did. Nice job by him on that outside line. Everyone else now lining up as they go by the American Ethanol sponsored turn 3 here at Kansas Speedway and get ready to head down pit lane once again. And we see these guys still catching up after their huge wreck coming out of turn 4. Took out a couple of competing cars from the top of the field, and we'll see how they can work their way back up as they head down pit lane.
4 tires everywhere.
I think so.
I couldn't imagine anybody not doing 4 tires right now. I couldn't imagine it.
I do think that these guys, they only got, I think, 3 or 4 laps of green flag racing on those left sides, and we know for a fact that everyone took 4 on the last set of green flag stops, so that may change a little bit here. I wouldn't be surprised to see someone try that 2-tire strategy if they didn't get in any battles with anyone and just kind of, hung around on that outside line.
Looks like Mike RPM's gonna get out first.
There you see it. The Freaky Fast number 4 machine. The crew had a Freaky Fast 2-tire stop that time around, and he's going to come out with the lead in his Ford Mustang. Now everyone coming out of corner number 2. It'll be interesting to see now Mike RPM. We haven't seen him anywhere near the front so far tonight in that Jimmy John's machine, but now he's going to be in P number 1, in control of the race here at Kansas, and one of these tracks that you really don't see the lead change too much on the restart, but we haven't seen him run fast so far. Do you think he might have a little bit of a challenge here from the 38 on the restart?
Yes. I didn't really see the speed from him back in the pack, but that was also back in the pack, so a lot of guys get a different speed once you get in the front. So we'll have to see here in this restart. Also depends on what the choose rule lies down on.
That is a good point too. The number 38 machine, will see what he does to try and counter or go with the number 4 of Mike. Mike goes low, and there you see it. Slade goes high in the number 38 machine as we get ready to go back. Green flag racing in just a moment. The rest of the field filling out now after the choose rule. Take a look back through the field and try to see where your favorite driver is in the pack as these guys move back around turns 1 and 2 here at Kansas, getting these tires warmed up and ready for what should be another exciting restart here at Kansas. We haven't seen one that hasn't had a lot of battles yet. You think we'll finally see these guys start to mellow out a little bit?
No, not really. I don't see it. I thought about it that they could possibly do it. I mean, these guys are going to want to race, and they're going to get runs, and they're not going to want to stay behind one another. They're going to want to pass them. So I still expect it to be pretty wild again.
All right, making their way through corners number 3 and 4, getting ready to go back. Green flag racing in just a moment, and leading them back down to green is the number 4 machine of Mike RPM and his freaky fast Ford Mustang as we get back down to the green flag here in the Wheat State 200 from Kansas Speedway. And down into corner number 1, we see Mike with the advantage. King Cola get by the 38 of Slade as they make their way out of turn number 2.
He does. Gets past him too. Mike RPM and Cola both get past Slade, but Slade on the outside, pushing the 4 and the 3.
It looks like, oh, the number 4 gets into the outside wall. Something very interesting happened coming out of turn number 4. We're not quite sure what it was, but everyone got pushed back quite a bit. For a second, it looked like the 4 of Mike RPM was in the wall hard and was spinning, but looks like he kept the thing straight, and now we have a new leader in the number 20 Toyota Camry, the Research-sponsored machine. It's Cola Motorsports as they head back down into corner number 3.
I believe he was lagging, I believe. He had a huge lag spike there for a second.
You very well might have if you were seeing the same thing that I saw on my screen here in the booth from Las Vegas, Nevada. But as we move back down into corner number 1, the 42 of Marcus Edub trying to make some moves in his Chevy Camaro, trying to get by Mike RPM as they come out of corner 2, couldn't quite clear him, and now they are going to be almost side by side as they head down into corner number 3.
42 is leaning all over that 4's bumper right now. Gonna get to his inside quarter panel and then take off down the straightaway. Now he's got to clear him going into turn 1 and 2 here.
He very well might. It's going to be tough to tell, though. These guys are running side by side as everyone starts to mellow out in the middle of the pack. Can he clear him with the slide job coming out of turn 2? Kyle Larson style. He makes it happen as they come out of corner number 2 and gets by Mike RPM.
4 looked like he was going to do a crossover there for a second, but thought otherwise. Side back in line, here comes the 38, and here comes the 8 of Titans as well.
Titans showing some speed in that Food City Chevy Camaro as they come out of corner number 4. He was able to use pit strategy to his advantage, and he is going to make his way into the top 5 here as we start to see these guys get a little more racy up front as they close in on one another's bumpers once again.
Twenty cars getting that good lead right there. 38 looks under the 4 slide job again. Done to him again. It's 2 slide jobs on the 4 car. As now here comes, oh, the bottle up right there.
You saw them bottle up a little bit coming out of 4. The 18's going to make it 3 wide, and Mike RPM might be getting swallowed up. Heading into corner number 1 as Max Boost looks low and Titans looks high. Those 2 tires not paying off for Mike as he falls from the lead all the way back outside of the top 5.
We held up for a minute, but as I told you, once those left sides get down, our car becomes incredibly hard to control.
And one thing that we missed in all of that was the number 20 machine who hit the wall. Oh, and we see a car in the grass out of turn 4. It's Max Boost and the number 38.
Slade around.
There you see Slade in the grass as they make their way out down into corner number 1. These guys are going to race back to the caution flag, if I'm not mistaken, and a new leader as we saw Cola getting to the outside wall. The 42 of Marcus Edub in his Chevy leading these guys back around to the caution flag.
They were 4 wide there. And Slade got into the wall. I didn't think it was going to work there.
Very, very tough. As you can see, these guys now coming back across the start-finish line. It doesn't look like they're slowing down any, and it might stay green here, as it looks like a one-car spin does not result in the caution. Now, two of these guys have driven away from the rest of the field as the 13 of Robbie Racing hard into the outside wall.
It is also 3 laps to go in the stage.
Ah, something to take note of. Didn't even notice that. Thank you so much. You are a godsend, I swear. Looking back in the pack, we see these guys still racing side by side for position as the 2 of Mateo Ortiz tries to look low on this group of race cars. The 43 of Coach Matt, the 12 of Who Dat Saints in that group. K Taddy Giggity and Cyber K Bionic trying to get by Mateo Ortiz on the outside as they make their way into corner 3. Heading down the front stretch, it looks like we might have a battle for the lead brewing, as the number 20 of Cola Motorsports knows he's got a fast machine. He wants to get that car back out in front of the 42 of Marcus Edub, but will he be able to do it? As we have now just a lap or so to go here in the Dixie State, or excuse me, in the Wheat State 200, as we come around turns 3 and 4 for closing off stage number 1.
And that is it for stage 1.
The number 42 of Marcus Edub takes it away as everyone closes back into one another and gets ready as they come back around for the beginning of stage number 2 here shortly. But your top 10 for the moment in stage number 1, it looks like Marcus Edub takes the cake with Cola Motorsports right on his tail. Titans in the number 8 took 3rd with Mo Powers Celtics in the 88 up to 4th. I know we got some guys in chat rooting for him tonight.
Mark Murphy in 5th there. Diesel got 8th. Feel like Jason got up to 10th in there. Got a good top 10 points there for him. Max Boots 11th now. Starting to work his way back up front.
Absolutely, after getting involved in that wreck earlier, hitting the seam, as was reported to us by one of the fellows in the chat. Thank you so much for that. We also have Fluffy in the number 17 machine in 6th with Birdster in 7th, and C. Workman in 9th, finally making use of his pit strategy earlier on. As we get ready to go back green flag racing here in the Wheat State 200 from Kansas Speedway. Back down to green we go, and it's Marcus Edub heading the field.
32 got a little contact there with the 20 though as we hitting the 1.
Looks like the top 4 are going to get themselves almost cleared up here now. Not quite, as the 20 of Cola Motorsports is going to look low for the lead heading into corner number 3. Try and hold it in that middle line. Will he get the job done? Coming out of corner number 4. They are still side by side for the lead.
And a great recovery from Mo Power here. He's in 4th. After having that spin earlier, impressive.
Looks like to his outside, Mike RPM is coming, and oh, hard into the outside wall is Fluffy in the 17.
Fluffy's in the wall.
That is a fast machine that just got into the wall and lost all momentum, fell to 23rd back of the field. We'll look to see whether he's going to be able to come back up, but for now it looks like he might be riding much of stage number 2 in limbo as they come out of corner number 4. 42 still leading the way, but the number 8 of Titans is coming as he got second away from Cola.
He is on it. He's right there. Like I said, look at this freight train on the outside. Nothing but all of them up there.
And the 13 of Robbie Racing is coming in his Geico military machine. Heading into corner number 3, gets by Slade on the outside line, and now these guys are trying to work by Max Boost into 77, but it looks like he's going to be able to slide up into that line as well, and now everyone kind of running in their own line as they make their way back down towards turn number 1, and your leader still, Marcus Edub in the 42.
They have 34 laps to go in this stage. They will have to pit one time. All right, now it'll be about 26 laps of fuel run right now. This is going to be roughly about 7, 8 to go, unless there's no caution, unless there's cautions.
Yeah, we have already seen one in this stage. That yellow flag has been the bane of us tonight, but we finally might be getting some good green flag racing and some great racing moves from the number 20 of Cola as he looks low on Titans. Coming out of corner number 2, some contact between the two, and now Celtic's going to look to the outside to try and take third away as he takes advantage of Cola's move.
Very impressed with Marcus here. 42 car, he's doing very well.
We haven't seen the speed out of him quite yet this year. We saw a little bit out of him at Auto Club and again a couple of weeks ago at Las Vegas. But now he's really showing it off here at Kansas. The great equalizer of a 1.5-mile racetrack certainly put someone new in the driver's seat today. Marcus Edub showing to be the dominant car.
77 made contact. 21's on the wall.
Yeah, and there you saw down the back straightaway, falling back in the pack as everyone else gets by him. Even Fluffy in the 17 gets by him as he now starts to work his way back through the field coming out of turn 4. Up to, I believe, 21st, if I'm not mistaken. 21 falls right in behind.
Now we see a little 4-car breakaway. They're staying with each other, too. Oh! And that's up 88 in the wall now.
It looks like tough luck for the number 88 machine as he makes his way through 3 and 4 back to the rear of the field with heavy
The 8-car lag. He had a lag spike on him.
That is very, very tough to see as he falls to the rear of the field after running in the 3rd position. And now we take a look into the middle of the pack. The 10 of Birdster clearing the number 38 of Slade on the inside line, but falling behind some of the rest of these guys is Coach Matt trying to make moves in the 43 through turns 3 and 4 on the inside line. Can he get it done?
That's on the inside. Diesel looking on the inside of his teammate. Gives past Cola here. 1 and 2. Does get the pass done. Now he's going to try to set his sights on for the leaders.
And there you saw it. The number 18 machine, the M&M's Toyota Camry, gets by the 20 of his teammate, if I'm not mistaken. As they move back around turns 3 and 4, Diesel Rothgib got a fast machine under him. Let's see if he can use the draft of his teammate to take advantage and move up to these top 2.
42 and an 8er is just so fast on the outside. Oh, whoa. 8-car, looks to be having problems.
Looks like he got loose on that outside line. Might have hit that seam these guys are talking about. Lost a little bit of time.
17 of Fluffy around.
Trying to find him.
On the back straightaway. I know, so we made a final 2.
And there you go, indeed, into the inside wall on the back straightaway. Thank goodness for safer barriers, because that was a tough hit onto the front end of that car. Just crunched as he makes his way back around now onto the front stretch. Everyone else already moving into turn number 3.
Max Boost slowly but steadily making his way back up there.
As you can see, the number 42 of, I believe, Marcus Edub and his Mick delivery machine, running just the absolute edge of the wall coming through turns 1 and 2. He's done a great job of getting a loose car around this place as fast as he can. I haven't seen anyone do it quite like him yet. Been very, very strong up front and showing that he's got a faster machine than I'm sure a lot of people anticipated coming into tonight. Good for him.
We've got a mid-pack battle between Max Boost and Slade. These guys have been going at it for the past couple laps now.
They're definitely going knuckle to knuckle, mano y mano, going after one another, trying to gain a little bit of that precious track position here at Kansas. And also the 11 of Jose 720 trying to get by Robbie Racing in the 13 on that inside line. They've been working on one another for 2 laps now, and it looks like Robbie Racing might get the advantage heading into corner number 3.
So now we might see the green flag runs.
Yeah, it does
look like... That's the case. 17's already on pit road, if that's the case, but...
It may be possible that he's trying to pull a strategy move right now, try and get some speed out of some fresh Goodyears now that he's in his pit window to make it to the end of the stage on one fuel run. And I'm sure he wanted to make repairs to that car and just get done with having to come to pit lane and try and see where he ends up here at the end of stage number 2, because he's only got 1 shot left. And that would be stage number 3 as these guys make their way back through turns 1 and 2. Marcus E-Dub with a comfortable lead now as the number 18 is closing in on Titans, who looks to have a very, very loose Food City Chevy Camaro as they come out of corner number 2 and now work their way into 3 and 4 on that high line.
37 of K Taddy was holding on to that car coming off of turn 2. He was sideways, but he saved it.
Here we see a battle for position as MJO 1803, Mateo Ortiz, our man, working through corners 1 and 2 on that outside line, trying to get by Coach Matt, who's been trying to make that inside line work. Now, this is the 4th time I've spotted him down there. Are you seeing any of these guys able to make these moves on these older tires on that inside line?
Once the tires where it makes the inside even harder because you have to slow down even slower than you normally would anyways. So it's the guys on the outside are running about a good 5 to 8 miles per hour faster than you, and you can't really do anything about it on the bottom. In the beginning of the race, yes, you can do that. You can take that line and work with it. Now, if you're doing a slide job, that's also when you want to use the bottom. But right now, that bottom is not going to prevail for any of these guys. You see the 2 just lost position because he was riding the bottom.
Yeah, losing that position to Coach Matt. These guys running that bottom line, if they're trying not to make that slide job work and they're just trying to run that inside line, then I could absolutely see why they'd have this issue. But now we see a couple of guys coming down pit road. It looks like the 12 of Houdat Saints and the 1 of Bags both doing so as they're trying to split the stage from what I can tell, or at least knowing they can make it without having to pit again, trying to take advantage now to see where they can run without having to worry about any traffic.
There's 20 laps to go here in this stage now, so they can make it from here.
For sure. And it looks like a change in position as the 18 machine, Diesel Rothgib, has moved up to 2nd in front of Titans, who's fading quickly in his number 8 machine. But Marcus E-Dub still holding on strong up front now with a couple of seconds, if not more, worth of a lead coming out of corner number 2.
18. Working on him. He's just working, biding his time. He's patient. He's one patient man. That's one of the most patient guys I've ever met. So.
Reflecting that on the racetrack right now, just being consistent and trying to hold on to that speed. Meanwhile, someone not holding on to speed, the 43 of Coach Matt, trying to use that inside line once again. As aggressive as I've seen anyone run that inside line here at Kansas, and unfortunately it just hasn't worked to his advantage yet. Now that 6-car breakaway on the inside line.
9 cars around on the grass here, so only 1 car is now the 2-car. MJO just went for a ride down the back straightaway, but I think he saved it.
Some of these guys making their way towards pit lane, as he mentioned, those 2 guys spinning, coming out of corner number 2, Big Destroyer in the grass, and the 2 was headed straight for the inside wall. I don't know if he hit it or if he was able to save that Ford Mustang, but now these guys pitting just a little bit, maybe trying, like I said before, to split the stage and a little bit of strategy to keep their cars from getting too loose on that long run. They want to do as much as they can here, and there you see Slade G84 in the 38, one of those guys that went to pit road, working his way back up onto the racetrack.
Now Diesel's going to hit pit road.
Mike RPM in the 4 on pit lane as well at the moment, along with the 9 of Big Destroyer. Those guys knew those cars were getting a little too loose for their liking. They are now back out on the racetrack.
Brewster also on pit road here.
The number 8 of Titans coming off of pit lane. He was running in 3rd at the time he came down pit lane after losing 2nd to Diesel Rothgib. And we'll be interested to see when the 42 pits, because he had that luxury of a big lead. I'm sure he can let a little bit of it get eaten away to try and have fresher tires late in the run.
That is true. He would do that. He could do it. He should do it.
Absolutely, a good strategy for him, and that's the advantage of having a big lead here at Kansas, although these guys don't always have that big lead, showing that he is going to be coming to pit road this time by as he makes his way into turn 3 on the inside line, and now heads towards pit lane.
Now the 1838 on his outside now. He's splitting off pit road.
And it looks like that's not going to be a good move for Diesel Rothgib. He stays in front of Titans, but not a great pit cycle for him, as now Slade gets out ahead of both of them, coming out of turn number 4, and Titans trying to look to his outside as they head towards turn number 1. Coming out of 2, it looks like Diesel Rothgeb might clear him, and indeed he does. He gets by Titans, maybe even with just a tiny bit of muscle. As they come out of corner number 2, we'll look to see where these guys now are in comparison to the leader, the 42, as they make their way out of corner number 4.
This is where this is going to be key here. Just going to see how the 42 played this well. As it looks to be, the 42 is going to get past here.
And indeed he will, coming out of corner number 2. Obviously not a great pit road entry after having a big lead, stayed out there on those older tires, and now falls from 1st to 5th as Workman gets by him in the 62 as they make their way down into corner number 3. We'll see how he can recover.
Max Boost is the leader right now still. He hasn't pitted yet. Or at least if he did pit, he got out of there a lot faster. But he's the leader right now. Nope, I think he's making his way to pit road now.
Number 11 of Jose coming off of pit lane as well. Some of these guys waited around a little bit longer, and it could work out for him in the long run, but right now it doesn't look too good. There you see it from Marcus Edub, up to 4th in this group of cars that we saw leading earlier, but still not great.
No. Max Boost hits the pit road here. Coach Matt is your leader currently.
Coach Matt, the number 43, has yet to come to pit lane. Ran that inside line for a lot of this green flag run. And one thing that I forgot to mention about those tires heading into tonight is that inside line can definitely give your left side tires a little bit better wear than it does on the top, because they have to rely less on that outside line to hold on to the race car on that higher banking. So could that mean that the inside line might be not a bad way to go if you're trying to make it a little bit longer on that green flag run?
That, you touched on it, yeah, that's about right. I mean, over the course of the run, yeah, the car's going to feel better because you're running on the bottom, and you're not running as fast either, so you're saving fuel too. It's a kind of a win-win, I guess, but you're going to have to still pick, because unless you saved, I don't know how many laps, 8, 6, 7 laps, so...
It'll be interesting to see what the 43 does. Still running on that outside line, even in the middle of the tri-oval. Interested to see what exactly he's doing now that he's running on the outside. Still your leader at the moment, but everyone else is breathing down his neck. As you can see, Max Boost has re-entered the Speedway, sitting now just behind, I believe, the 20 of Cola Motorsports through turns 1 and 2, as everyone now jostles for position after getting back on the racetrack with these fresh Goodyears.
There's now Coach Matt in the pit right now. It's now Slade, I believe, is the leader.
Coming down now into turn number 1, it is Slade and the number 38 machine in the lead. I would definitely be interested to see where these guys sit. I don't know where the 17 of Fluffy sits on the racetrack, whether he's a lap down or not in that 17.
The 43 is still the leader here. He was a lap, I think he was a lap ahead of those guys.
Very well might have been, as he had to make his way down pit lane. He could definitely be trying to save those left sides and make a 2-tire stop and get out in front. And there you go, Killer Like Jason in the 14 decided to stay out on the racetrack for the long haul, getting on a different cycle than everyone else. He currently sits in the lead, making his way into corner number 3, but it looks like after that everyone else running with one another, and that means that Slade is currently running in the 2nd position.
Coach Matt, kinda... Okay, I don't really know if it worked for Coach Matt, that strategy call there.
We'll look to see where he is on the racetrack at the moment. I'm not quite sure. It looks to me like Cola Motorsports is running in 11th right now, and that means that Coach Matt is sitting way far back in the field at the moment, because we can see that these guys range probably back to 18th or 19th on the racetrack. That's Bags there in the number 1 machine running in, I believe, the 18th position. So if you can't see him in view at this point, it's hard to believe that that strategy would have worked out for him if he's sitting this far back on the racetrack.
Right. And this 14 car, Killer Jason is moving on that middle lane there. He's working that middle lane very well and very impressively. He's got a big lead back to Slate here too. This honestly could be a good strategy call for him. I don't know. He was on pit road early though.
You did mention him getting on pit road earlier could make a difference, and also a difference in second position at the moment. Slade got into the outside wall coming out of turn 4 along with the 18 of Diesel Rothkip, who tried to make the slide job work. In the middle of turns 3 and 4, he got into the outside wall and carried him with him, and now Marcus Edub in the 42 with those fresher rubbers is looking to try and get by both of them on the outside line, and indeed he does. He takes second spot away. Coming out of corner number 4, the number 18 still running third, and now Slade in the number 38 back to fourth.
We got some more racing action in the back here. 12 and 2, which is 3 wide with the 11 there for a second. Now they shuffle it out. The 2 gets into the wall.
Ooh, in the middle of turns 1 and 2, yeah, you saw him getting the outside wall there, down to 140 miles an hour, and going from 12th to 16th in a heartbeat. You hate to see it, but these loose race cars will do that to these guys. And now Slade trying to look back inside the 18 for third as they make their way through 1 and 2. I'm sure Will be happy to put the door to him and give him a little bit of a slide job working back as they come out of corner 2.
Just coming to 3 to go.
We do see the 14 still running strong as his lead is diminished drastically, but I do think he's trying to make it the rest of the way without having to come into pit road. He's still the leader, and although his lead is diminishing rapidly, he still sits out front by about 3 seconds on our second place car, Marcus Edub, as they make their way through corners 1 and 2.
His tires are drastically, probably worse, way worse than theirs. Gotta remember, these guys pitted on, they split the stage. He pitted at least, I want to say, 5 laps before that.
And might have taken 2 tires, if I'm not mistaken. I can't think of any other way that he made it this far on those left side and right side combination, and I'm sure those left sides low.
The 42 is coming.
He is coming fast. A wreck down the backstretch at the 2 of MJO currently with a lot of damage to the front end of that machine as he makes his way out of corner number 4 after getting into the outside wall. Too loose of a race car for him to handle, as now we are getting ready to come down for the end of the stage.
14 still hanging on strong now. 1 lap.
Coming out of 4, can he get there? No, the 42 gets out ahead of him. Oh man, what a way to steal a stage win away. I didn't even realize that was the end of the stage, but what a
I didn't either.
42.
But that was beautiful. That was incredible right there. Heck of a stage win.
Absolutely, and quite the effort by the 14, and both with a lot of skill and a lot of brains to get back up out there and run in second. We know he's got a quick car. He sat on the pole for tonight's event with a 30.2, so now that he's back out front, I think you can see that Rush Truck Center's Ford Mustang be a contender for the rest of the night if no mistakes are made.
And now the strategy of the 14 played out well. He's up at second.
Beautiful move.
So that was incredible there. I don't know what he did, but that was impressive.
And now we'll look to see. He sits currently in 5th after having a little bit of damage, had to make some repairs, but comes back out here getting ready to go back green flag racing with the 42 of Marcus Edub and Slade on the front row as we get ready for the beginning of stage number 3 here on lap 83 of 134 here in the Wheat State 200 from Kansas as they go down towards turn 1.
42, beautiful restart there. He's going to clear the 38 of Slade. Now Diesel's going to get involved.
Diesel on that inside line trying to make things work on the low line. As they come into turn number 3, here comes the 77 of Max Boost on the outside with the 14 of Kill It Like Jason securely in 5th behind him. As these guys all spread out to try and get to that outside line. Diesel trying to find a way to go, heading down towards turn 1.
Ooh, 77 getting a little bit in the wall there. The 18 goes all the way to the bottom, trying to clear the 77.
He doesn't look like he's going to be able to make it work. Coming out of turn number 2, Slade and the number 42, Marcus Edub, trying to break away, and the 77 trying to join him. Diesel Rothkip gathers up 4th in the 18 as Killer Like Jason stays in 5th in that 14 car.
Now the 30 is in the pursuit. His eyes on that 42 right there. This is good. You see, now we're going to see if the 42 can hang. The 38 and the 77 haven't been up there around him when he's had the lead. Now we're going to see if he can hold it with them two behind him.
We see on pit road right now the number 37 Energizer Chevy Camaro of K-Taddy Giggity. Don't know why he's in pit road. May have gotten spun in there coming out of corner number 4, and if he did, that is some very tough luck. But he stays in his box, and it looks like he's having service done to that number 37 machine.
Very impressed right now by 42, hanging on, hanging in there.
We know that he's got a fast machine, drove away from a lot of these guys earlier, but now holding on with the big dogs, sitting right behind him. These guys, Slade, very consistent all year long, maybe the most consistent of any driver, and Max Boost with a couple wins on the books this year. Right now, the 42 staying out in front of them both as they make their way back across the start-finish line.
Now Slade's going to try to do a slide job here in 1 and 2.
The Mustang looks
going to get him cleared.
Oh, and a wreck in the back. The number 6 and the 20 are both involved. The number 6 gets in the wall. And we're headed back down towards the caution flag. Who's going to be able to get the lead coming out of turn 4? As we come to the caution, it's going to be the 42 of Marcus E-Dub, and now the 77 of Max Boost gets second, as Slade now comes to the caution flag in third in his Yanmar Ford Mustang.
Fighting for every position.
Taking a look at who was involved in that wreck, it looks like Baronate in the 6 was involved. The 13 of Robbie Racing involved in this one as well. And with him comes the 20 of Cola Motorsports. Was running so well earlier and now sits all the way back in 21st. And we'll see whether this means K-Taddy Giggity gets his lap back in the 37. It may have been 2 laps that he lost, but he'll get at least one of those back with this caution here.
Everybody's going to be on pit road here.
Certainly does look that way. I don't think anyone's going to stay out as they make their way down towards pit road. Everyone's spaced out with one another as they head down for pit lane.
37 stays out here. Was he a lap down?
Yes, I do believe he was a lap down, if not more. Might have been 2 laps down when the caution flag flew. So he just came to pit road. He's going to get one of those laps back here as he stays out on the racetrack. The free pass, though, so he can come to pit lane if he so desires to get a lap back.
Ready to see the race off pit road here.
Got the camera fixated on Max Boost in the 77 to see if he can beat everyone else off. Killer Lake Jason is behind him. Marcus E-Dub is in front of him in the 42 as they make their way down to the exit of pit lane. No one else is going to challenge as it looks like Slade
is losing a lot of positions here.
And there you see, continuing to lose time. Where does Slade come out of pit lane? Way further back in the field.
I believe he had a speeding penalty.
Very well could have, and that would be very unfortunate to see, but it looks like he is indeed going to fall to the rear of the pack here after that speeding penalty in his Yanmar Ford. A tough break for a man who was running so well all night long.
There's still time. But now he can't be as patient. He's got to be aggressive, but he can't get himself back in a wreck.
It's a fine line he's walking down, having to make his way back from a speeding penalty. Now sits all the way back in the rear of the field. He's got a lot of work to do if he's going to want a chance of getting a win, but we know his consistency. I think he might be, if I'm picking his brain correctly here, he might just be trying to get back up there and collect some points. We'll see.
Choose rule here.
Back in effect, and it looks like once again Killer Like Jason in the 14 taking the outside lane from third, so he's going to restart in fourth this time around. But we saw that outside lane just nice and consistent. These guys, like I said before, almost casting out a net to make sure they don't fall back too far if they run in that outside line, knowing they've got the preferred line on the long run.
It's going to be interesting to see now. Can the 42 hang with on the restart here with 77? And the 77 get a good restart on the outside because he does have Killer Like Jason behind him.
And Mike RPM sitting in third in the 4 machine. He's been able to hang up there at least a little bit after he made the pit strategy call to get him back up towards the front. We saw those 2 tire stops work before, but I don't think they'll be working now. The 77 On the outside of the 42 of Marcus Edub as we get ready to go back green flag racing here in the Wheat State 200 from Kansas Speedway. Coming out of turn number 4, Marcus Edub leads this group back down to the green flag through the restart zone here at Kansas and to the green flag with Mike RPM giving them a big push as they make their way back down towards turn number 1. Take it away, Koala.
Huge push by the 4 right there. Amazing. The 42 is going to clear the 77 now. The 4 got a little loose right there. As the 18, he tried to pinch down the 18, and 18 moved them up. They're still side by side.
And here comes Coach Matt in the 43 down low in the middle of turns 3 and 4. We didn't see him gain that many spots, but it looks like his strategy might have paid off now as he sits in the top 5. And now a challenge for the lead as Max Boost is right on the bumper with Marcus Edub heading down towards turn number 1.
43. I think 43 got a little loose there. Lost all those positions to get into the back.
Now you saw it coming out of corner number 2. Coach Matt lost all that time on the inside line. Tough to see, but that's what happens whenever you get into these tough situations. And one guy I want to...
62. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
No, you're all good. One guy I want to note right behind that little battle is the 38 of Slade, who's already battling for a top 10 spot as he's on the inside line trying to get by Cyber K Bionic in the 16. Coming out of corner number 2.
Seen the aggressiveness by him. He was in that turn, that little contact right there. He was mainly the cause of it. He tried to move the 62. 62 got into the 14. 14 didn't hold that. Went back on the 62 there. Slade's getting aggressive.
Trying to show the muscle in that Ford Mustang as they make their way back down towards corner number 1. Looking off of the number 2 here as they come out of corner number 2. We'll try to dictate where some of these guys are running as he's in 8th right now. Bags in 9th. As everyone gets piled up here from about 11th on back as they work down into corner number 3. A big riffraff of race cars.
Again, the 42. Marcus is impressing me right now. Holding off Max Boost right here.
Back down into corner number 1, the 9 of Big Destroyer trying to make something happen on the inside line as everyone tries to slide up high. Cola Motorsports gets outside of the number 88 of Mo Powa, and now they're 3 wide down the back for position as they head into corner number 3. Who's going to be able to mellow out where as these side-by-side battles start to clear up?
77 got a better run that time. Because now Mike RPM starting to come get his way up in there. He's the 3rd. He's making his way up to these front 2.
Jimmy John's machine, we talked about it being freaky fast on pit road earlier when he took those 2 tires. Now showing that speed on the track as he tries to reel in Max Boost and keep the dog-hungry hounds behind him. Through turns
42 right now. You got to be faking like I got Max Boost all over my bumper right now, and I can't make a mistake. And that's what he's got to keep repeating himself. I can't make a mistake.
And don't want to tell yourself that too much though, or you just might fall into one. As you can see him running right on the edge, coming out of corner number 4, holds on to that race car. Man, he's got to have a loose machine underneath him to keep it off the wall there. Amazing job. And he's able to stay in front of Max Boost as well, running right up to the wall, Kyle Larson style.
Pulling out the whole Kyle Larson package right now, running the rim of the outside wall.
I've seen a lot of guys run the outside here at Kansas. Everyone does, but no one quite like the 42. He's holding on for dear life right now in front of the 77 of Max Boost, imposing his will on Kansas Speedway and the rest of the field.
Ooh, hit the 18, got loose.
You see him lose a couple of spots there from 4th to 6th as he runs the outside line in 1 and 2, trying to hold off the rest of the field and get back up to speed, as indeed he got a little bit of a power slide coming out of corner number 4, and that's going to hurt the right rear tire a little bit.
Robbie racing in the wall there. He spun around. I think it's a loan car though. I think it's just him.
We see the 14 to Kill It Like Jason also now just coming out of corner number 2 after a lot of front end damage has been incurred on that machine. It looks like we might be seeing a caution flag if it was more than one car, and indeed it was.
Just another strategy calls here.
This will be interesting to see. We see the 37 already moving back up here next to the leaders, along with the number 8 of Titans. For some reason, I'm not quite sure why that is. It looks like he was running in about 5th before. He might be just in an odd spot right now. But the 37 of K-Taddy Giggity taking his lap right now, and that's going to put him back on the lead lap, if I'm not mistaken. That could mean big things if he's able to work his way back up through the field. And you said it before, a lot of racing left to go. Still 33 laps.
Now fuel strategy's coming into play here. I believe, can they make it on a fuel run?
Not quite. They're going to be a little bit close. My estimations from my test runs say these guys can make it 30 laps on fuel maximum. So if they want to do it, they're going to have to save a little bit, possibly running that inside line and letting off a little bit more than they would like to, running slower and running in the back of the field. But they could potentially make it work.
It's possible.
Actually, I want to get your thoughts on that, because I know that you've done it a couple of times in the Xfinity series, but you like to run your cars hard. Strategy not as big of a deal for some of these guys, but big for you. Do you think anyone's going to try to pull that off, or do you think it might just be a little bit too crazy?
It's possible someone will attempt this. It's one person in this field that's going to probably at least attempt this. Will at least the majority do it? Probably not, because it's kind of hard to maintain speed and try to save fuel. Because everybody wants to think, okay, they're going faster than me, I probably should keep up, but you can't, you gotta save. And you get into the trance again where you think you're racing full, and it just doesn't work out sometimes. But I mean, if it's possible here, these guys could be very smart with it.
It wouldn't surprise me to see more cars on the inside line than the outside line here, contrary to what we've seen as we get ready for the choose rule, because to my knowledge, you can run that inside line, maybe show that you're trying to be fast, but let off a little bit more, and you could eventually save some fuel, and if your tires can make it, that could make it very easy to run those full 33 laps. So if the right sides can hold on, I can see some guys trying it.
Choose rule time. We're gonna get 42 on the inside.
It looks like some of these guys doing something a little bit different, as we might have a little bit of a hold up here in the middle of the group, but we make it out alive. Everyone now riling on up to their position, and it looks like the outside line once again dominating here at the beginning of the choose rule and at the end of the choose rule. So what are these guys going to do? It'll be interesting to see as the long run here tries to take us to the very end, about 32 laps of green flag racing headed your way, and these guys can only make it 30 on fuel. Who's going to try to push?
It'll be very interesting here. Plus, it comes back to the question of the caution does wave. Do you pit? Strategy could be called again, so.
And that's very important too. These guys, if they do decide not to pit, they'll be much slower on those older tires. But we'll see if a caution flag does fly once more here in the Wheat State 200 at Kansas Speedway. If these guys come out of turn number 4, and we got a lag spike from the 4, causing a bit of a commotion here on the restart.
Ford didn't get going on that restart. Lagged. Yeah, he's lagging bad. He just jumped back up here towards the front.
That's a big issue right now. These guys are going to try and stay away as they make their way through corners 1 and 2. Will we see the caution flag fly after that? Max Boost in the 77 putting pressure on the 42s. They make their way down into corner 3, and Titans full send on the inside.
Full send or no send. That's the way Titans is going right now.
Everyone comes across the line, and a wreck now from the 4 of Mike RPM into the outside wall, down the front stretch. And it looks like the caution flag has flown once again here at Kansas in the Pocono Raceway Cup Series.
Now strategy's going to be implied again. You only race 2 laps here.
This could be tough because these guys they'll be very, very close on fuel, but they'll be able to push it all the way and make it. Their tires, on the other hand, they could probably make it all the way on those right sides. So you could try to save here under caution and try and make it and push it, or you could pit and be safe. So very interesting to see here. This might even be more interesting than the last one.
And guys with clutches, it's going to help out tremendously because you put it in neutral here and coast. So these guys that can put it in neutral can coast, who can save a lot of fuel that way.
It'll be tough to see. Marcus Edub stays out.
Everybody else behind him comes in. I don't know about that call.
Man, that could be very, very tough on him. Those tires only had 2 laps to wear, but they start to wear quickly, and I think that might be the mistake of the race. Every single car in the pack after that 42 on pit road.
And now he's got to realize too, he's got to save gas now. Everybody else is gonna have fuel, so then he's got to save.
He will be coasting in neutral for sure around this track, trying to get as much out of it as he can, coasting around corners 1 and 2. Some guys with gas and go, other with 2, and some with 4 tires as they come off of pit lane, and this will be a big shakeup, the biggest we've seen all night.
More strategy calls here. I like the only fuel guys. I like that.
This will be a fun challenge.
About the 42, that's what I would have did. I would have done that. I don't know. Staying out was smart, but not when you're by yourself.
It's a good move if other guys try to stay out with you, gain that track position, but no one did. Everyone knew they could come down pit lane and make their own strategy calls, and now an interesting front 4 or 5 as we see Marcus Edub up front. C. Workman 388 in the 62 running in second. Cyber K Bionic in the 16 running in third, with Coach Matt in fourth and Birdster in the 10 running in fifth.
Getting down to the end here, coming to 30 laps in the choose rule.
Yeah, we are going to want to focus on who's going to go where here on this restart. Focusing in on C. Workman to see what line he takes in comparison to the number 42 of Marcus Edub here on the choose rule once more at Kansas.
42 looks like it's going to go at the bottom here.
It's going to allow Workman to go to the outside, and everyone else choosing and choosing and choosing as they make their way across the start-finish line. And everyone catches back up. Now the top 10, so odd. These top 6 guys, other than Marcus Edub, we haven't seen at all tonight. Meanwhile, some of these guys a little bit further back, Titans, Max Boost, Kill It Like Jason, these guys are all guys that have run up front for the majority of the race. So there'll be a lot of interesting racing up near the front of the pack here as we get ready to restart.
The saying that says cautions breed cautions is what's going to happen here. These guys are in the back. They're going to be aggressive, and they're going to want to get back to the front. It's going to be a little bit of a carnage up here.
Carnage indeed. That might even be an understatement. As we continue to work now into turn number 3, the 42, I'm sure coasting with everything he's got to save fuel and make sure he can make it to the end. A crazy cycle here and a lot of different strategies and pit calls. As we get ready to go back, green flag racing here at Kansas Speedway. Now down towards the restart zone. The number 42 of Marcus Edub leads away as we get back down to the green flag. Everyone mashes the gas, and we set him off into turn 1. Take it away, Koala.
43 takes the 3 wide there. The 62 didn't get going on that restart. And now can the 42 hold off the 16 there. Look at the 62. Making a little bit of a run over top of the 16 with the 12 car also in the picture. You're right. We've got a lot of guys up here that we haven't talked about all night.
Coming down into corner number 3, Cyber K Bionic holding on to second. Who Dat Saints trying to take it away, and C. Workman in the outside wall. Coming out of 4 just a little bit. As now they run down the front stretch.
Outside. Look at that run.
Ooh, he's trying to put a move on the 62 of Workman. They're tight on one another as they head into corner 1. Now Cyber K Bionic with a huge run to the outside takes second back away.
These guys are fighting loose now. Oh, one car. And it's a bottleneck, and we got a wreck again.
Oh, the 18, the 21, the 11, the 17, and even more. All involved as they come out of turn number 4. Marcus Edub with a huge lead leads this group back down to the caution flag.
So now this raises another strategy. They just did pit. They are kind of on it. They're about a lap, I'd say a half a lap. And now the 42 has not pit. Do you take that and pit now? Because you're not where you were.
No, unfortunately, he had that big lead on the green flag run, and that just got completely ripped out of his hands, and I don't even know if he actually finished the stage with the lead. He might have finished somewhere in fourth. We saw him get loose out of turn 4 with those less grippy tires. So he might come down pit road here just to take those tires and know that he can race back up and finish at least in a good position versus falling. But we don't know what these guys behind him are going to do, and that makes the difference.
Let's see, 12 car stays out. I think everybody else, again, it's coming in. And that's the downfall of that call there.
Very tough. It's like running in the lead, but this time he was in second whenever he made it happen, and that's still very tough to figure out what you're going to do. These guys never have a single clue what the guys behind them or in front of them are going to do, and everyone else takes advantage of the one guy who makes a mistake.
Now it's all down to strategy. Or guy's going to take only fuel, or guy's going to take tires here. What's going to be strategy? You obviously know the 42 is going to take fuel and tires.
Absolutely. It looks like he gets out ahead of some of his other counterparts, though, so a lot of these guys took just 2 tires. Some of them took 4. It looks like Birdster and the 2 of Mateo Ortiz took 2, and I believe everyone after that takes 4 tires and a full can of Sunoco Racing fuel as they make their way back down onto the racetrack now.
Who that Saints is in first. Birdster second there. This is top 3 have not been up here until just now.
Yeah, you see Birdster in second, Mateo in third, and the number 2 machine, Cyber K Bionic in fourth, and the 42 of Marcus Edub running in fifth.
The 2 was wrecking earlier.
Yeah, we saw him run into the outside wall coming out of turn 2 to end the stage, finish that stage in 21st position, and now he's running all the way up in third.
They get really interesting here. These guys in the back. The laps are winding down. They're going to get more and more impatient, and caution's pretty cautious, man.
Absolutely. So the 12 takes the inside line on the restart. Birdster goes to the outside of him in his America Votes for Bacon machine, as Cyber K Bionic takes the outside in fourth, and so does Marcus Edub in fifth.
Good calls. I just believe that 12, that bottom is the best lane on the restart.
Absolutely. That inside line, we haven't seen it be a problem tonight. We saw Jason take the outside line to start the race, and only one guy has taken the outside on any restart tonight. And it worked out for him, but not as well as you would think. So these guys are going to have a tough time trying to figure out what they want to do on every single restart from now on, because you mentioned it. Cautions breed cautions, and I don't think we've seen the last of them tonight.
Oh, no. As we pointed on, these top 3 or 4 guys have not been up here all night. Now the guys that are put back in the back that were up here, they're going to try to get back up here. And if that takes moving guys, it's going to take to move some guys.
Absolutely. So the number 12 leads them back down to green. That's Who Dat Saints as everyone bunches up on the restart here. One more time from the Wheat State 200 at Kansas Speedway.
Yeah, huge tire spins from both lanes there, but the 12 gets out of front. Here comes the 8 car now. And this is where the 2 tires might bite the 12 and the 12 and the 2. Well, the 12 especially because it stayed out. So it might bite them because the 8 might have took forward. Look at this move here by Titans.
Hanging tough on the inside line, coming out of corner number 4. That Food City Chevy Camaro trying to go forward, but now falling back. Not able to get that run on the inside line. We'll see if he can slide into the outside line, heading into corner number 1. He might be able to get it done here. Oh, contact in the middle of the pack as the number 37 got pushed to the inside line after, I believe, the 16 got into the outside wall.
There comes the 2. 12 car's now on the wall. The 2 car to the lead.
As they come down the front stretch, Mateo Ortiz takes the lead.
It's on to going into turn 1 here.
Everyone right next to one another coming out of the corner. Birdster stays off of, I believe that was the number 43 of Coach Matt, but just by a little bit, as now these guys are starting to try and use that top line. But here comes Titans to make another move out of 4, and Baronate right in the conversation.
We have now reached the Pocono Raceway Cup Series, 20 to go.
3 wide for the lead, heading into quarter number 1. Who's going to take advantage? It's going to be Titans in the number 8 machine, coming out of turn 2, using the middle lane to get by Mateo.
And like this whole top 5 is shooken up. The only one that's up there that was up there earlier was the 8. Everybody else is new up there.
Oh, and you can see the 2 into the outside wall. There's a lot happening, and just past the leader, everyone now trying to make a little bit of a different move, try to make a line work that isn't there before, and now Mateo, you can see him starting to lose a little bit of grip into the outside wall again in 1 and 2, losing a lot of ground.
No good for him there.
I don't know how we didn't have a caution on that restart. I'm going to be very honest with you. These guys were bouncing off of one another bouncing off the wall and tapping each other's quarter panels with the front ends of the cars. I thought for sure we were going to see a wreck, but my eyes deceived me.
They managed very well.
Now coming out of turn 2 and down the back, the number 8 of Mopowa Celtics looking low on the man who stayed out. Who Dat Saints in turn 3 as he gets in the wall.
One driver I want to point out, I thought that restart, the 42, dropped back tremendously.
Yeah, that's tough to see after running so well all night. I believe he will have the most laps led when this race comes to an end, but now sitting back all the way in, I want to say 15th position, and with him, Diesel Rothgiven, the 18, who was running top 3 for a lot of this race, and Slade back there as well.
Yeah. 3 fastest cars in the race right there. All running up in the back now.
Yeah, for a lot of the race, those were the 3 fastest cars, and the 4th fastest was the number 8, who's now sitting in the lead, sitting pretty with about a half a second advantage over the 62, if that, making his way back down into corner number 1, trying to do what you talked about earlier, diamonding these corners a little bit more than we've seen earlier.
That's what you gotta do. That's how you gain the most speed. So you gotta hit that arc just right in that turn. You hit that, stay off the seam. The seam is not your best friend.
Especially not here at Kansas. Is there any other advantage other than just that little bit of speed you might be able to gain from running there? Is there another advantage that the car can gain from running this more diamond corner?
You get into the turn, and you're not putting as much turn in there now. You're not sitting there forcing the car to turn left. You can put more throttle into it. You gain about a good, I'd say, 2-3 miles an hour just off doing that, and that helps out a lot in the turn, especially.
Definitely something I didn't know about. If I would have known about that, I would have run it in my test run. It's probably one of the things that makes these guys so fast, but something to point out here is they come down the front stretch and into turn 1. The number 88 of Mopowa Celtics finished 3rd last week in, I believe, New Hampshire, and now sits 3rd here again at 1.5 miles, showing that consistency that we saw him lacking earlier in the year.
77 and Max Boost made his way back up top 5, is in 4th now. Coach Matt's 5th.
Yeah, Coach Matt having a great run tonight. We saw him try to pull some strategy earlier. Restarted in 5th after the beginning of Stage 3 and hasn't left that spot pretty much the entire run. We'll see what he can do here to try and gain some more spots before the end of this one. Coming out of turn 2.
Go ahead, man.
Sorry about that. Coming out of turn 2, Titans starting to get the 62 of Workman closing in on him. And this is something that I saw earlier in the last green flag run, or at least the last long one. That car was great early in the run, but started to slow down once the run got a little bit too long for that car's liking. Is that going to be a problem for him here?
I don't know if that's going to be a problem, because here comes that 77. I think that's going to be a problem.
Coming out of turn 2, Max Boost barely clears Workman. I haven't seen a slide job like that all night long, but he makes it work and now sits in 2nd.
That was a clean slide job right there, and now he's going to make the moves, chasing that 8 car.
And he's got to run out of turn number 4, starting to close to the back bumper, using what little draft he can get here on this lower draft setting here at Kansas as they make their way down into corner 1. Looks low.
Trying to do a slide job again. Is he going to make it this time? Oh, contact. But he gets it.
And that's going to force Titans backwards. A little bit of a dirty move, I guess you could say, but, I mean, he tried to make that slide job work as much as he could in true to Kyle Larson fashion, just barely getting into someone else. Oh, and we see number 62 getting the wall in the middle of the corner.
The 8 gets loose.
Down into corner number 1 now. The 8, after getting loose off of 4, tried to make a pass in the grass from the looks of it, but it didn't quite work out. Now he falls in behind the 12, Dex Imaging Machine of Houdat Saints. And I believe that's going to put him all the way back to 7th position on the racetrack as they move into corner 3.
Now Max Boost trying to run away with the lead here as he's coming to 9 to go.
And I'll tell you what, these guys that have been running up front all year, like Fluffy in the 17, the 77 of Max Boost, they haven't been in good situations to start a race. They haven't been in good situations in the middle of the race. We haven't seen these guys dominate since week 1. And now they're coming out here and finding new ways to win every week.
Yep. Doing what you gotta do. You gotta evolve. That's the name of the game here. You gotta evolve. You gotta find better speed. You gotta figure out what you can do better in these cars and how you can maintain that front appearance again, and Max Boost has proven it yet again. Praying there's no caution.
Absolutely, and as these guys spread out a caution, not necessarily less likely, but not as likely to happen from contact. These tires, as they lose grip, we've seen guys spin out over the course of the night. They could cause a caution from a wreck, someone getting in that seam, or someone hitting the wall and sliding down the track. You never know. Anything can happen here at Kansas.
I believe we're coming down to 7 to go.
As they come down across the start-finish line, I want to take a look at one of the drivers who we talked about a lot tonight. The number 42 of Marcus Edub, I believe currently running at about 11th position in that 42 machine, trying to work his way back up to a top 10 with Robbie Racing, or excuse me, Diesel Rothgib now, and then number 18 right behind him. Are these guys just trying to go for points now, or are they hoping for a caution to try and get up there and gun for a win?
Both. I believe it's the caution first, but if the caution doesn't come, you want to get as good a position as you can. So it's kind of for both situations at that point.
Yeah, I know that. I'm sure the 42 is hoping for a little bit of a better night than this. Oh, Titans into the outside wall. Now in 10th position, falling back continuously as Marcus Edub's going to try and pass him in 3 and 4 here and get a top 10 now on the leaderboard.
Coming to 5 to go for the 77 here.
Oh, and a car in the grass out of turn 4. It's Baronate in the 6. He's going to lose some positions on the track as the 21, the 4, the 43 all get by him, heading down into corner number 1.
Oh, 4 and 6 make contact.
Oh, and there's the 20 into the outside wall.
And it's all the field. Oh. And that may be a caution. That was 5. If you hit the 5 to go mark, we're coming to 4. It may or may not be a caution. I'm not sure.
That's going to be tough to tell. I do not believe the caution flag will fly here because of how few laps we have left. And no, we're going to stay green in this one.
You're 4 laps to go.
And that is going to be the end of the night for Bags in the 1 machine. Got involved in that wreck and decided that it's just better to call it.
Yeah, you still in game positions back there.
As we can see, the number 8 takes to catch up with the 77, but he has certainly done a great job. Most and now sits in 2nd position with just a couple laps remaining.
18 of Diesel got back up to 6 after that spin out down the back straightaway, battled all through it. With the wreck, went all the way down to the bottom. Now he's in 6th position. Heck of a recovery for him.
That is great to see, running in 6th with Fluffy in 7th in the 17. Robbie Racing, so we haven't talked about tonight, in his Geico military scheme position right now after not running well all night long, caught up in seemingly every wreck. Still having a good night when all's said and done.
That's true.
All right.
Go.
Wow, we are coming up on just a couple of laps remaining. Doing a great job for these guys tonight just to hold on to the race cars when it matters most. They've done a great job, and the highest among them, the 77 of Max Boost, as he runs down into corner number 3 in his unsponsored Chevy Camaro. Looks to be holding on for seemingly dear life, but doing everything he can here to try and win yet another one on the Pocono Raceway Cup Series schedule. And it looks like that will be the finish, ladies and gentlemen. If I'm not mistaken, that was crossing the start-finish line for the 77 of Max Boost. I mean,
great race.
Absolutely, a great race tonight, all in all, for a lot of these guys. And others, they are not going to be happy with the result that they got. Guys like the 42 of Marcus Edub, who got involved in that wreck, finishes outside the top 10. Unfortunate to see.
Fluffy with a top 10 there. That man Perky consistently been in the top 10, top 5, top 10 range.
Yeah, he pulls out a 5th place finish tonight in his Wood Brothers Ford Mustang in the 21. And man, the very, very interesting leaderboard. These guys have done a ton tonight, but Max Boost takes home the win in the 77 with Mo Power Celtics in the 88 in 2nd. C. Workman in 3rd in the 62 with his best finish of the season by far. Same goes with Coach Matt in the 43, who finishes this one 4th. We mentioned Perky in 5th, Baronade in the 6th, finishes in 6th. Diesel Rothgibb in 7th, Fluffy in 8th, Robbie Racing in 9th, and MJO in the 2 gets a top 10.
Getting everything situated, get these guys in here for the post-race.
It's going to be interesting to interview these guys because I know a lot of them were battling through a lot tonight after sitting in the rear of the pack for almost the entire race, now sitting up front whenever it matters most, you know, getting that win, especially for the 77. And for a lot of these guys, a great finish. It'll be a fun to interview these guys, and we'll be back with those interviews in just a moment. Your winner tonight, the 77 of Max Boost here in the Wheat State 200 from Kansas. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here in the Valor Racing League Pocono Raceway Cup Series post-race after the Wheat State 200 from Kansas Speedway. We'll get a chance to interview the top 3 drivers in tonight's race as well as the league commish, the man who made everything happen, Slade G84. But first, we want to get to our 3rd place finisher tonight, the number 62 Chevy Camaro. Man sponsored by my hometown of Las Vegas and South Point Casino, but the man who made the magic happen in that machine tonight, the number 62 of C. Workman. How are you doing tonight, my man?
A lot better than I was doing last week and a week ago during surgery recovery. But man, this car go from the back of the pack all the way up to the front was something. We've always had good speed here, especially once Heat 4 came out. This has been one of my favorite places to come, and I've never gotten a win, but I've always had top 5 speed, and had to play around with the setup a little bit for the lowest draft settings tonight, but still we had a shot at the win there at the end.
All right, Koala, do you have any questions for our third place finisher?
I don't, man. I'm just very impressed with you. Good job on the third place finish there.
Yeah, it's fun to come back and do some part-time starts once in a while. Trying to fly on for second place there, but I don't know, 88 just decided to use us up quite a bit there, and 3 and 4 just kept coming up, just kind of put us to the wall and couldn't run him down at all. But hey, you know, a third place for only getting a few starts in so far this season, the good result, and we'll take it.
All right. Do you think that getting this third place finish tonight, you know, setting kind of the consistency level, if you will, that you haven't been able to get yet, do you think that this is going to be a start of a nice streak of good finishes where you can just get some nice, clean racing in?
I mean, that's basically been the thing. I mean, the last couple of races we've had, you know, we've had decent speed, and you know, like one of the faster lap times. You know, I mean, we were towards the front of Daytona, just no one ever wanted to go with us, and just had a bad finish because of other people's mistakes. And same thing at New Hampshire before, just got caught up in other people's mistakes, and you know, finishing a lot worse than where we should. And I feel like tonight we finally finished where we should be at. I don't know if we were a winning car, but we were definitely a top 5 car. So I'm happy that we were able to get a finish with the speed that we really had.
All right, thank you very much for coming in. Congrats on the third place finish tonight, and hopefully we can see you back in the booth for another top 3 interview next week on Tuesday night. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, on to our second place finisher tonight, the man who Workman mentioned in his interview, Mo Power Celtics, back in the booth for the second week in a row with another top 3 finish. Celtics, you ran really well tonight. Congrats on your second place finish.
Thanks, man.
All right, take it off to Koala right away. Do you got any questions for our second place finisher?
88, man. It seemed that you just had so much bad luck today. I mean, so much. There's been times when you were up front, and then you got right back to the back. How did you manage to get through the field twice, to be exact, and get a second place finish?
It's really just, well, we were just trying to stay calm mostly, but a lot of the guys kind of ruined themselves tonight by trying to run the bottom early in the on the restarts and stuff. And we try to stay on the outside all night, because that's where the predominant line is, you know. And we just kept out there and made our passes up. And when, like Workman said, I did use him up, but he blocked me a couple times and slowed us down a little bit. So I was trying to get around to try to get back to Max, and Max was just a little too quick for us tonight. But it was overall a good run.
Okay, man, it was. Good job.
All right, so we talked a little bit about, or you talked about, that high line being so dominant. Were you able to use the inside line tonight to make any passes? I'm just curious, because I really didn't see too many guys making it work.
I hate to sound like Kyle Busch, but no, you can't pass on the inside. Not at all. Unless someone makes a really bad mistake. Other than that, no.
All right, well, I was just really curious about that, because I hadn't seen anyone do it tonight, but I'm glad that you were able to clarify that. I know you had a fast machine tonight, especially with that second place finish. You really showed it off. So thank you so much for coming in. Congrats on yet another top 3 finish, and hopefully see you back in the booth next week. Thank you so much.
Yes, dude.
All right, and now on to our winner. Yet again this season, I believe it's the 3rd time that you've been to Victory Lane, the number 77 of Max Boost. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, fellas. How are you guys?
Can't complain. Koala, you got any questions for our race winner? Other than, where did you come from? I mean, you know, you do the same thing you do basically every week. You just kind of come out of nowhere. I mean, how like you were trapped for a minute. You were trapped back there for a minute. But how did you get through all that mess?
Oh, just being patient, waiting for the opportunity, because you can pass on the low lane. It's just you gotta time it right, make sure your car is good enough, and was lucky enough to pull off some passes. So I want to apologize to Titans. When I took that pass for the lead, I guess I was a little higher than I thought I was, and he came down and got my quarter panel, and it fenced him. And I know he was on older tires, but I never want to pass dirty for the lead. But it was a close deal, so just want to put that out there real quick.
All right,
Good job, man, on that first place finish there.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, I just want to say, to my Montgomery teammates, Matt got a P4. Awesome, really proud of him. And McLovin Racing, he gave me a setup to try out for this race, and you know what? Credit goes to that. That car that he built was fast, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for his skill and setup making. This car was insane. And another shout out to Marcus, man. He was so fast. I was so happy. I was hoping to battle it out with him for the win. It's a shame he got caught up in some issues, but shout out to him, dude. He was quality.
Yeah, one of the top 5 cars in the race, at least.
So you mentioned just a second ago there that you got your setup from McLovin Racing, if I'm not mistaken. And a lot of these guys that you worked with, I've known previously from whenever I worked in my time in the White Knuckle Racing League. How much of those guys, like Coach Matt and McLovin Racing, meant in helping you to develop a lot of the skills that you've gotten in setup building and being on the racetrack and making a lot of these great moves? Because I saw you make a couple of great moves in tonight's race. How much of these guys helped you?
We worked together pretty well. I usually use all my own setups. I think this was the first race where I decided to try his, just because I didn't have enough time this week to update my Heat 4 setup. So, we worked together. I was helping Matt over the radio, just being like, take it easy, you're in P4, do this, do that. We worked together pretty well. I haven't really raced with these guys before I got drafted onto their team with Valor Racing. So now that we've had 9 races together, I feel like we're firing off pretty well and getting to know what works for each other. So we've been doing it as a good team effort lately, and it's been really rewarding.
That is absolutely awesome to hear. Love to hear it from you, man, and congratulations on yet another win this year in the Pocono Raceway Cup Series. Keep tearing it up out there, and we hope to see you back in here next week.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys for the coverage.
Thank you. All right, and now we get the chance to interview the one and only Slade G84. Slade, first I want to ask you, where did you finish in tonight's event? Because we know you had a good car.
Irrelevant. P17. It was. I'm gonna go. It was rough. We kept going front back. Even in stage 2, we started 22nd, finished 3rd. So we had a really good car. That's probably the best car I've had all season. Didn't work out, but that's how it goes sometimes.
All right. First off, Koala, do you have any questions for our league owner?
Other than, man, you had a fast car. That's all I got to tell you. You had a fast car. That car was hauling up front. It just seems once you got back there in that mid-pack range, it just made it harder and harder for you to make passes and get back up to the front. And then also wrecks.
Yeah, it's just how it is. Just we ran. I don't know if y'all put it on the channel before we started. We started on lowest draft tonight. It was our first race on lowest draft, first week. You could say Xfinity Series yesterday was on lowest, and we were very happy with the product that came out. Guys who had the fastest car flew to the front. Guys who were mid-pack stayed mid-pack, and stage 1 was a little rough. Just guys getting seams and some server lag issues. Kind of hurt stage 1. Stage 2 went caution free and provide some strategy. Like Jason almost stout the entirety of stage 2. Actually, I think we had a caution on lap 3. I think we had a lag incident. If I'm not mistaken, not 100% sure on that, but fuel strategy up come and play with stage 2, and that brought some great racing and some great strategy called by a lot of people. And then stage 3 was really good for the most part. A few lap segment, you could say. We got a few cautions here and there. Lag once again. That was, I probably said about half our yellows were lag and server related. So You hate to see that, and I'd probably say the other half was just people getting the seams and racing incidents. So overall, very happy with how today turned out as a league. As the owner looking on the race, we had some really great racing overall. But for my own race, not the happiest, to say the least.
All right, well, we hope your luck turns around next week. Hopefully you can come back and get a great finish next week. Where are we racing?
We were at Michigan next week, so that should be a really good one. We'll be on low draft for that one.
All right, so you heard it here first. Low, not lowest, but still low draft setting next week at Michigan. Blistering fast, especially on these custom setups. Thank you so much, and we will be looking back to see you next week on the track.
Yep. Tip our guys, thank you all too for putting on another great show on Tuesday night, and everybody who's still tuning in, thank you. We always appreciate it. We'll be back on the channel Thursday night, if you want to see some F1 action, some guys who are not very good at the game but just having some fun. Be sure to tune in for that. And if, like I said, next Monday, National Series at Michigan, and Cup Series next Tuesday, you'll hear from our two fantastic Cup commentators as well next week, hopefully. Koala's usually I'm here 1 week and I'm not here the next week. So.
I should be here next week.
Having Koala on the booth, it's a specialty, so you guys got to
Yes, you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, and you guys did get a treat tonight with the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only Koala in the booth with me tonight.
Yes, sir. The dynamic duo back again.
Back once again. So, with that, kind of just want to get your thoughts, Koala, and pick your brain a little bit, because we had a lot happen in tonight's race, especially a ton that was really unexpected, especially in the long runs, especially with guys like killing it like Jason being able to make it 33 laps on a single fuel run after I went back and calculated that out.
I'm still impressed by that. I mean, the race was amazing in general. Like Slade touched on, it had its moments where internet issues or guys hitting seams, but other than that, the racing was just phenomenal in general. It's a lot of battles across the racetrack. It wasn't just on a bunch of single file. There was a lot of decent battles out there too. And we had a bunch of different leaders, so that shows you that there were ways to make passes here. The strategy did have a huge factor in this.
Absolutely. So, Kansas, definitely some better racing than I expected. I hope that you feel the same way.
I did. It definitely turned out way better.
All right, well, good to hear, and hopefully next week at Michigan we can get a lot more interesting inside line to outside line racing like we saw today, and who knows, maybe we'll see a first-time winner, or maybe one of these guys, Fluffy or Max Boost, who ran so well at the other 2-mile track, Auto Club, can get up there and try and score yet another victory on this already crazy hectic season here in the NASCAR Pocono Raceway Cup Series in the Valor Racing League. So with that, we say good night from the Valor Racing League. My name is James McCombs, and with me, the one and only Koala. Have a great night, everybody.
Peace out, guys.